Welcome and thank you for joining us for this edition of Coach's Corner, Playoff Edition. My name is George Webb. I'm one of the assistant coaches here for the Dover Sherburne Raiders, and I'm here with Steve Ryan, who's head coach of our Dover Sherburne Raiders. Hey, we had a heck of a game last Friday night, and we beat Watertown. Our team stands at 9-0, and now we have the opportunity to advance to the second round of the playoffs to play Hudson, also standing at 9-0. Number one seed in the Division 5 ranking. So we're fortunate. Steve, heck of a win. Maybe you can just talk about the game.
It was, it was a battle. It was exactly what we expected. Very physical team. They came here with a chip on their shoulder, and they wanted it bad. We were lucky to outlast them, and I think, we played a good game, especially that second half. We made our adjustments again. And it worked out for us.
Yeah, these guys spied us earlier in the season. They were the number 9 seed. We were the number 8 seed. So they've been game planning for us for several weeks. We played them last year in the first round of the playoffs, and we handed them a similar result, almost an identical score. So when these guys came out, we were familiar with them, and they played their brand of football.
Yeah, and their brand of football is smash mouth. They're tough kids, and they wanted to hit us. Luckily, our X's and O's, I think, surpassed what they were doing, and and certainly our toughness. We haven't played a team who is tougher than us.
Yep, and Watertown's a tough group of kids for sure. It didn't surprise me. They had the ground and pound. They moved the ball pretty good. They have a mobile quarterback. So the yards on the ground in the first half didn't surprise us. We figured that would be part of their game. The thing that surprised a little bit was that they were able to get as many yards in the air. So can you talk about that and the adjustments we made to the half?
Sure. Their quarterback, as you said, they were running the ball in the first half, and I thought they did so fairly successfully, especially at the end of the first half. But they came out in the second half and kind of abandoned that philosophy and wanted to throw the ball more often. And when you're throwing the ball, things are a little tougher. Three things can happen, and 2 of them are bad. So when we can force a team to throw the ball, and that's usually a good thing for us.
So, and they came out trying to take in the first half, they clearly wanted us to take away the passing game and force us to run. And they held us pretty well contained for the first half, and then Mike Polk opened it up in the second.
Yeah, and, again, it was difficult. I thought we had a very good first drive and marched the ball pretty well. Second drive, we get stuck at 2nd and 20 after a penalty, and then you're stuck throwing the ball, and everybody knows you're throwing the ball. It's a little tougher. It was, we didn't have the ball very much in that first half, so we got the ball again at the end of the half with not a lot of time left, and again, we have to throw at that time. Which makes it tough, especially on the quarterbacks, because everybody knows we're passing at that time. In the second half, we were able to stay much more balanced with our running game and our passing game, and that's always more effective.
So I've got some stats over here. I had to write these down because they were pretty good. Before we get to the stats, though, we cleaned up penalties. Penalties have been killing us in the prior 2 or 3 weeks, and pretty good. We had a couple, but really none that cost us significantly in this game. So do we focus a lot on that in the prep?
Oh, yeah. Practice, we talked about that every day. Penalties are just something we can't afford to have. It's useless yardage that we're giving up. So, we really made an emphasis to improve on that, and we did.
That's important. We said we'd had to play perfect ball going into the playoffs. One other thing, the PATs were a little bit of a challenge, point after attempts in the first half. Can you talk about what happened there?
Sure. It was just a difficult snap for Henry to handle. I was happy that in the second half, we had to go for 2 just because of the way the numbers worked, and we were able to convert both of those.
So the final score, 28-14. Tighter first half than what the scoreboard and the final result was. But again, our guys, I think, we out-schemed them in the second half. I'd like to get some call-outs with some stats over here. Mike Polk was terrific. One of the coaches gave some stats here for the game. 21 carries for 122 yards. Mike really turned on. He got stuffed at the 6-inch line. We're not even sure how you possibly get stuffed at the 6-inch yard line with the football halfway in the end zone. But they did, and they called it, and so we had a turnover. Mike came back out, and from that point on, he was just really running with conviction.
Yeah, that's a difficult thing when you think you've scored a touchdown and the referees say you haven't. It was a little bit controversial. It looked like one of the referees was calling it a touchdown, and the other ones overruled him. But so Mike seemed to get fired up at that, and we kept feeding him the ball, and he was running hard and had a great third and fourth quarter.
That's what good athletes do. They take that adversity and take a setback, and they turn it into positive yards as soon as they get the ball back, and Mike really did. So 21 carries, 122 yards, passing 1,000 yards on the season, and that's through 9 games and 11 rushing TDs. We can't say how important Mike has been to the team. Garrett Webb, I don't talk a lot about Garrett for obvious reasons. He's my guy. His stats were great, 3 passing TDs. He's over 1,300 yards passing on the season, 15 touchdowns. And the Boston Herald had a nice quote on him and said he actually played a brilliant game on Friday night.
Yeah, he was a significant factor. When you get a guy that's that comfortable and has that kind of time back there, he's going to find his open receivers. And he did a great job, once or twice calling his own plays and converting on those as well. So, I can't say enough about how he's played.
And the tandem of he and Ronan are working out really well. Both quarterbacks doing really well. I was trying to count up how many rushing touchdowns Ronan's had this year, and I couldn't get the stat.
Yeah, he's got 3 or 4 rushing touchdowns, but the combination of the two of them has been outstanding. And we knew that going in, and they're just so supportive of each other, and that's what works for the two of them.
That's great. They've matured a lot since the first game of the season. So they're especially when both of them line up in the backfield, they both can run, they both can throw. They're going to be hard for opposing defenses. Brian Olsen, 5 TDs. Emilio KB, 3. Henry Moore, 3. Chris Kiesling, 2. So good spreading the ball around. We got some guys who can catch and run. The yards after the catch have been really good for all the guys. On defense, wanted to call out Griffin Rossbottom does plays with an edge that really sets the tone for the defense. He's our leading tackler. And Mekhi Robinson right there with those two in the middle, pretty stout D, and Mekhi with 5 interceptions on the season.
Yeah, Griff's leading the team in tackles. Has just been outstanding, just such a consistent force. And Mekhi's the guy other teams have to plan around. He's such a disruption there on defense that if you're not focusing on him as an offensive coordinator, you're not doing your job.
So defense, you said at the beginning of the season, defense is what wins championships, and that's really been the heart of this team to date, right?
Absolutely. That's what we had planned going into this year. We've taken, some of our best guys, and they're playing one way on defense, and it's certainly working out for us.
So any final thoughts? In the Watertown game, we really had good production on all 3 phases of the game, special teams, offense, defense, and the team played for a full 48 minutes. Any final thoughts before we move on to Hudson?
Just I was, very happy with the way we came back out in the second half. All year we've made some adjustments at halftime, and I think we've been very successful doing that. But on top of that, we were, there was a little bit of adversity there. So the way we handled the adversity, I was very happy with.
That's really important because, it's, when you get into a season like this, when times are good, everybody's when times break a little tough, not having finger pointing and second guessing is really important because that's when you have a real team.
Right. There's a lot of faith. We're just one team, and these are our guys. We got 38 guys here, and everybody's got each other's back.
So before we move on to Hudson and the game planning we do around there, one thing that you've preached since the day I joined the coaching staff over here and to all the kids that have come through your program over the last several years is you say playing classy, really playing good sportsmanship, academic first, good sportsmanship, win or lose. That's been a theme that we've had. Can you talk about the importance of that, particularly as we get into the playoffs and emotions tend to run a little higher, both with the players on the team and sometimes the parents in the stands?
Sure. We preach those two things. We preach to play with emotion, but absolutely we've got to do it with class. We've got to know where the line is. And it's so important because, kids who are going to do the right thing, as far as sportsmanship, do the right thing as far as X's and O's and plays and penalties. And so it's important to get people doing the right thing as a universal goal. And you can see occasionally we play that team who just is chippy and comes out and they're just looking to be dirty, and they make the mistakes. It's when you're not doing the right things. On the field, you're also not doing the right things with your X's and O's.
That's it. I mean, we're all football guys. We all love a hard-fought game. We all love the emotion. We love big hits during the games, but do it between the whistles, not after the whistles. And win or lose, good sportsmanship is a big part of the game. So that's something that we preach to our guys. Not every team's perfect, but that's something that we focus really hard on, particularly as we get deeper in the playoffs. So we're going to take a quick break over here, and then we'll pivot and we'll talk about Hudson. When we come back, maybe we can get some highlights from the Watertown game. Welcome back. I'm here again with Coach Steve Ryan, who's head coach of the Raiders, and we're going to start to talk about second round of playoffs now, where we're lining up against Hudson, the number one seed in Division 5. Steve, we've circled up, and the whole division's been looking at Hudson as the team to beat this year. So this really is, we're catching them early in the playoffs, but this is a team we have to go through if we have any chance of advancing.
Yeah, they're certainly a good team. 9-0 speaks for itself, same as us. And they seem to be big, strong kids, and they do the right things on the field.
What should we be looking for with this team? We've scouted them a little bit. We know their quarterback is a heck of an athlete. I think he has over 1,600 yards passing. I think 800 yards rushing, and he's a sophomore, right?
Yeah. He's certainly their strongest player. I'd say he's the kid to watch. We'll certainly game plan for him, but. They have two running backs and a couple of wide receivers who can go get the ball. So, we've got to be ready for everything. But that's all year for us. I certainly have faith that our defense will be prepared and be aggressive enough to go get this kid.
So with their offense, are they a balanced attack, or they depend a little bit more on the ground of the air?
I would say their offense is focused around their quarterback, whether that's passing or running. He certainly scrambles and extends plays, but that's where he gets his running yards too, off of broken pass plays.
Are we doing anything when we have scrambling quarterbacks like that, from game planning perspective? Anything we do to help mitigate some of that damage that they can do?
Sure, there are ideas we can go through, whether that means we're blitzing our outside backers to contain him, or maybe holding off on the blitz on the inside backers so we have another guy to chase. There's certain schemes that we'll put in place as the game progresses.
How's their defense?
Their defense is good. A bunch of big, strong kids, thick kids throughout the field on the line, but also in their defensive back positions.
Now, I think it was a Boston Herald picked Watertown to make it to the Super Bowl for Division 5, or at least to the Final Four. How does Watertown stack up compared to Hudson?
I'd say Hudson will be the best team we played all year.
So we're the dogs coming into this one. It's the number 8 seed.
Yeah, 9-0, and we're the underdog. That's all right.
So, anything else you'd? This is a couple of things for perspective. This is the furthest we've gone. If we win, this will be the furthest we've gone in the playoffs in school history, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So we made it this far last year, and we got stopped short by Swampscott just by a touchdown. So our guys are ready. They understand that 9-0 doesn't mean anything unless you can win this game.
Absolutely. We have certain goals, and we won the league and won our first playoff game, and certainly, this is the next step to get that next step in progression. And it's a challenge. This is going to be a really good team, but right now the score is 0-0, and anybody can come out and play a great game and beat anybody on any day. So we're just trying to get ready to be that team.
We feel like we can compete with them. We've looked at a bunch of different angles over here, and it's going to be a heck of a challenge for us on Friday night. But our guys are focused, and they're certainly not intimidating. They're sure as hell not flinching away from any challenge. And in some ways, it's good to get the number 1 seed early, and we're happy to take them on here or there. This game happens to be in Hudson on Friday night at 7 o'clock. It's an away game. The school may have a fan bus, from what I understand. If we can get 40 people committed to that, you can take a bus right here. Emily Sullivan's going to make a call on that on Thursday night. So if the students and fans would like to take the bus, that may be an option. We'll keep you posted on that. Otherwise, the 12th man is really important. We had a heck of a crowd out here on Friday night, and if you looked across the field, there wasn't so much on the other side. It was pretty sparsely attended. And I tell you that the 12th man, we talk about it all season, it really does make a difference. So if we can fill that fan bus up and get everybody to go out to Hudson, at least it'll balance the noise and give our guys a little bit of energy in what's going to be the biggest game that Dover Sherburne's had in its 40-odd years of existence. So we hope that everybody turns out. Steve, any final thoughts as we get ready for this game?
We'll be ready. That's all I'd say. Is we're ready for anything they throw at us, and I think we've got a few wrinkles for them too.
Good. We're looking forward to it. We'll take a break over here, and then I'll come back with just a final segment for this week's Coach's Corner.
Hello, I'm Bill O'Donnell, Register of Deeds for Norfolk County. The holidays are a time of joy, but for some, a time of stress. We see firsthand at the Registry of Deeds the struggles of people when it comes to mortgage foreclosures. A number of families in the county struggle to put food on the table. Realizing that 1 out of every 9 Massachusetts households is considered food insecure, the Registry of Deeds continues to hold its annual holiday food drive to benefit struggling families here in Norfolk County. We are asking for your help in collecting non-perishable donations such as canned meats, soups, vegetables, breakfast cereals, pasta, spaghetti sauces, along with household paper goods. To make a difference this holiday season, all you have to do is drop off a donation to the Registry of Deeds lobby, located at 649 High Street in Dedham, between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m., Monday through Friday. If you cannot get to the Registry of Deeds, please check our website at www.norfolkdeeds.org for a food pantry location in your community. Donations are needed throughout the year. Working together, we can truly make a difference. Thank you.
Welcome back. This is the final segment for the show. We're going to give you some logistics over here. Dover Sherburne TV is going to be, for those who can't watch the game or come to the game live, they're going to be rebroadcasting the football game on YouTube. We'll put up the same web address that you can watch the game. And we know that people are watching across the country and in all parts. And we'd like to actually dedicate this edition of Coach's Corner to Grandma Esposito. She grabbed me after the game and said, why didn't you guys do a Coach's Corner the week before last? I've been waiting for it. And so she wants to follow her grandson, Chris Kiesling, who quietly is having a very good season for us and just an all-around great athlete. He's going to be an important part of our team next year. Chris is a junior, and we've really enjoyed watching his development over the last 2 or 3 years. So this is to you, Grandma Esposito. We hope to see you back up here maybe for the Thanksgiving game. If you have any questions for Coach's Corner, you can send them in to the email address on the screen below. And I think that's a wrap for this week, Steve. We got our work cut out for us. Our guys are focused. Hopefully we're back here for the next edition of Coach's Corner, and we get past Hudson and continue on. All right? Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.